Let's take a look
There's
at the
an
next
industry standard that you spend about $200 a car in advertising. So, you know, you'll start off with maybe doubling that the first month. Once you see your sales, then you adjust it accordingly. But like I said, I think the most important aspect of advertising is customer testimonies and, you know, that they tell people about you. We call it the wow factor around here. Have you wowed your customer today? And we give them a reason to, we want that reaction. So we put it to the salespeople. The important thing with advertising is before they get out of here, you make them go, wow, you know, about anything. Not necessarily the car deal, but maybe something that you throw in, or something that you offer to do, or something that you know, can tell them that they're going to experience in the future, or, you know, any kind of host of things. And I actually stole this process from Disney.
So, not a new concept. Now here's the interesting application, and here's specifically how they've applied it, and I love this explanation. Let's take a look at this next piece.
Our philosophy here is a quote. It's called, "Don't ask for permission, beg for forgiveness." And what that means is I empower everybody to make a decision, and then I want to know what the decision was and why they made it. So if we gave a guy a free transmission replacement in a car, which costs $3,500, then they're not going to say, can I give this guy a transmission? They're going to come up to me with their head down and say, I just gave away a $3,500 transmission. And of course my response will be, why? And so they're begging for forgiveness at that point. Now the answer that I get when I ask why is what truly makes the culture. And everybody knows that, and we share the stories all over. So by that afternoon, all the salespeople will know that I just gave away a $3,500 transmission in the pack. Now what does that say about me to a 100% commission salesperson that is just trying to please customers? Is, hey, if he's doing it and he's going that far, then I need to go that far. So it's very, very contagious. But it starts with everybody. It's not just your front line. It's not, you know, it's the operators. It's the people who greet people when they walk in, you know, things like that.
All right, so here's the deal. Forgiveness versus permission. So the whole culture is you don't have to go ask somebody. You make a great decision and then do what? Go beg for forgiveness. A whole different concept, because it's not much of a wow experience if someone says, well, let me see what we can do for you. I'll be back in a minute. I got to check with my mommy. And then they come back and say, well, he said it's okay if we do this. Not a big wow. But if somebody right there in front of you says, here's how we're going to fix the problem, would that work for you? That's a wow. Make sense? It's a lot easier. You know the saying, it's a lot easier to ask for forgiveness than to get permission. But the point is, if everybody's on the same page, then you do the right thing, go ask for forgiveness, and then spread the word. Now, I asked Matt to give us just a couple of examples of how they extend the wow idea. So here's a couple of examples.
Some things scare me, but you know, we've had people say, you know, if you throw in a bottle of whiskey, I'll buy it today, and the salesman literally says, I'll be right back, and drives over to the liquor store and buys a bottle of whiskey and puts it, and it's more a joke, you know, because it's something totally absurd that a customer asked us, you know, or you know, we'll you know, give the child a car, you know, obviously a little toy car, the same day that the parents are getting a car. You know, just be overly creative as to, you know, what you're, But give your employees the power. We don't put out a pamphlet and say, if somebody says this, then you need to do this. We let we let the creativity happen on different salespeople.
All right, so here's the anatomy. Let me share this with you, because I want to share my personal experience of how this happened for me at Holiday Ford. I tested this because I wasn't going to put somebody on the program that wasn't walking the talk. So here's how I tested it. I called CT, who is one of the salespeople at Holiday Ford. I didn't call Matt because I knew that Matt would do it right. He owns it. So I called one of the sales guys. I called him one morning and I said, CT, here's the deal. Here's the make, here's the model, here's the year, and here's all the accessories that I want. I've already decided what I want. That's what I want to come in and buy. He said to me, Steve, I don't have it here on the lot. Give me a few minutes. I'll call you back. I will find your car. Within an hour, he called me back. He said, Steve, I've found it. It's about an hour away. I've made arrangements with the sales manager there. We're going to have it transported to our dealership. I'll have it here this afternoon. When would you like to pick it up? So we talked about that, made arrangements. 1 hour later, he called me back. He said, Steve, I got some good news and I got some bad news. And I said, all right, tell me about that. He said, well, the good news is, like I said an hour ago, we've got your car. The bad news is that from the time I called the other dealership until the time the sales manager came to work, he said, because I called him at home. He said by the time he got to the dealership, they only had 2 of them, and they had already sold one, and they're not willing to let go of the second one. So you're going to have to go to their dealership to buy the car. I said, but CT, that means I can't buy it from you. He said, Steve, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you get what you want. So he said, I've already made all the arrangements. They know who you are. They know when you'll be there. And you can get there this afternoon. They'll have everything ready to go for you this afternoon. So I went to the other dealership. As I was driving the car off the lot, within 5 minutes, my cell phone rang. Guess who? CT's on the phone. He goes, Steve, how do you like it? I said, I can't believe you're calling me. He said, that's what we do here. That's how we do business. So he said, I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you tell everybody about Holiday Ford. Now, Matt did not know anything about this. I didn't whisper a word to him about this. In fact, we didn't even do the interview until after I had tested this out to make sure that they were doing it. Now, here's the interesting thing. It was a wow for me, the fact that he would go to that extent to make sure I got what I wanted. And you know what? You know how many times I've told that story? A lot. So here's what happened next, if we can put the slides back on. When we went up to do the interview, I took the car. Okay, you're all wondering, what was it? Anybody want to know what it was? You know what it was. No, it was a Ford F-150. And actually, Joe Harris, for your honor, it's a Ford F-150 Raptor. All right, so when we got there to do this interview, I said while we were there, I said, hey guys, do you mind servicing the car while we got it? Because I'd driven it several thousand miles. And so they said, fine, Steve, we'll take care of it. And they said, oh, by the way, the truck's not quite perfect. And I said, what do you mean? He says, it's got the wrong name on it, the wrong dealer name. And I smiled at him and I said, do whatever you want. So when they serviced the car, when we got done, that's what was on the back of the truck. And not only that, but when they brought me my keys, the other dealer had put his little keychain deal. They had replaced my keychain too. So the other dealer's name was totally gone, and it's Holiday everywhere. So here's Matt's, here's kind of his formula that I deducted out of this. And this is really simple, the anatomy of a wow. You ready for this? You ready to be wowed? Yeah, here you go. 1. Okay, I'm advancing here. There we go. Okay, so first, tell me about your previous experience. That was the first step. And then, next slide, listen. And then what did Matt say? Get creative. And then respond. Now, here's the difference.